It's the Murphy, Sam, and Jody After the Show podcast, and I enjoyed some reading this weekend, Sam, that, I didn't expect to enjoy.
You're reading manuals again?
It almost kind of, sort of. Taylor, our oldest daughter, is going to New York City on that trip next week. And
this week.
Oh, is it this week?
I'm sorry, sweetie. It's Thursday. She leaves.
Oh, she's going to be
2
gone
days.
over Memorial Weekend?
Yes. She gets back on Monday, on Memorial Day.
Oh, man. All right, I was distracted there. Okay, I thought it was a week later. But anyway, so the teacher, or I guess the chaperones, put together this kit, this guide, and Jody's like, "Hey, check this out. Read this. Make sure you know what's going on." Well, so I start reading it, and it's got the little school rules and regs and all that. But then I start to get to the packing list and everything. I'm like, I'm going to make a copy of this for the future. This is like, it's the best.
Super thorough.
It is the most thorough, best packing guide I've ever seen. Better than anything I'd ever seen online. Better than anything I've ever created for myself.
That's a teacher who's done this trip with high school students before.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And, for somebody, and I would have never thought to slow down enough to tell Taylor some of the things that she even needs to know at the airport. Here's the TSA, and, gels have to go in this little, bag that this size, and you can't carry this, and you're going to get the scan. Here's what's going to happen on the scanner. I mean, it literally goes through all of that portion, the flight stuff. But little things that I've blown before, like don't pack your suitcase all the way if you're planning on bringing some things back.
Yeah.
Because you need enough room for souvenirs.
And she's a souvenir type buyer. She's a consumer. Look, I got this ginormous thing.
Or Murphy, you could do that one where you get the suitcases that have the extra zipper on it that expand 2 inches.
Yeah.
That's for your souvenirs.
Yeah. I've had a few of those show up before, too.
Yeah.
They look pregnant by the time they come back on the, the luggage
conveyor belt.
Conveyor belt. So there was that, and then just the little silly things I think we take for granted, like do you have your phone charger, the things that she needs to take. And then limiting on cash. Since it's New York City, they don't want the kids carrying a ton of cash. But, they're just telling them, make sure that, we can go to ATMs if you need to, or at least allot $30 a day. That way you're not carrying a ton of cash. But if you need something for the subway or something, you're good. But otherwise, if you can do plastic, you should do plastic.
Yeah. Yeah, he really said that, Sam. He really said, I'm going to copy. I want to keep this.
First thing I asked Taylor was, do you have an electronic version of this? No, Dad, they printed it out.
And do you know there was a meeting? This is what makes me sick. There was a parents' meeting to go over all this stuff, which now knowing Murphy, he would have been like, oh my gosh, this is great. Oh my gosh, this is great. We missed it because we were moving.
Oh.
We moved into the new house, and we missed that meeting. Of course, she mentioned it to me like a day before or something like that, and then we were moving, and I completely forgot. And just, oh yeah, the meeting was the other day.
The school didn't get on you for that? Or
No.
like a makeup meeting?
No,
Oh.
no. It's like, here's the packet. Your child has been informed, and look, you can see in the packet she highlighted certain things. She definitely underlined certain things, and she's rooming with some of her friends, and so. I mentioned to her, like double check with your friends. If there's somebody bringing, a big thing of dry shampoo, you don't need to bring a bunch of. I was helping her sort of get some travel-sized items together. She doesn't need a hairdryer anyway because she always just lets it go naturally dry.
And there's
like
a hairdryer in the room.
Exactly.
Too.
Yeah, and that was another thing that they said there. Don't pack these things because there's, most of these things will be in the hotel. They're also going to break the traveling group up into 4 smaller groups that they can just manage.
It's better.
And everywhere they go, every time they get on a bus or off the bus or go into a place or out of the place, there's always going to be a quick roll call just to make sure that everybody's together.
Yeah.
And then it says, if you get separated, go to the nearest public place like a restaurant, something like that where there's a lot of people around and call somebody.
Yeah, it's a great plan.
It is just like, it's the most unbelievable thing.
As somebody who's done it before with high schoolers, I cannot imagine being a chaperone. I wouldn't want to be a chaperone. I was once a chaperone on like a elementary school field trip. Oh my gosh. I felt like I was just
Herding
watching
cats?
chickens all day. It was crazy. So, but on a trip like that, that would make me, it takes the right kind of person.
Yeah.
And definitely the right kind of person has done this before who put that packet together.
Yeah. So do you have a checklist that you keep for every vacation? In other words, something you break back out?
No, I don't.
I used to when we were always, okay, Murphy. Here's a true story. I used to when we were going to the beach a lot. When the girls were little, we used to take them to the beach a lot. And I grew up not a beach person. We didn't go to the beach a lot because I burned so easily. My family, I can remember overhearing conversations with my mom and dad like, you can't take her. She'll turn into a lobster the first day. So I'm like, great, I'm the problem. But
It's not like you can't get a sunburn in the mountains either. You can.
it's true.
You know?
Yeah.
But that's what are you going to do? Stick me under the or leave me in the room the whole time?
Yeah.
But so when we first started going to the beach a lot, I had a beach, packing list because I needed it. The first few times I didn't have the sand toys and I didn't know to
Right.
bring,
Chairs
enough
and-
flip-flops and chairs and things like that. And then I would go a second time going, wait, I know this. Why didn't I do it? So I created a beach list, which is smart because it's a specific trip that needs specific things.
Right.
The girls need plenty of swimsuits and there needs to be plenty of sunscreen and all
And there's
that.
always a Walmart nearby anyway.
It's true. I had to hit those so many times.
Yeah. No, my super planning for vacations was when I was a child, as a teenager.
Oh, same.
You knew the family vacation was coming up in a couple of weeks, and so I would plan out the route and how long it's going to take. Yeah, okay.
You would plan out the
you
route.
Clark Griswold it.
Yeah, we had a AAA. Those little things they called triptychs. They were like a flipping, it would be like 100
That's
miles
okay,
on a
that's
page,
cool.
and so you could keep track of the cities you were going through. And I calculated down to the minute how long it was going to take us. I took my outfits out and I matched up my outfits, and this was what I was going to wear day one. This is what I was going to wear to the amusement park, because this will be I can move around in this one and I'll look better. And this is what I'll wear here.
Wow.
Nice.
That's pretty specific.
Yeah,
It's pretty non-vacation-y.
Yeah, it's also called being a loser. So
No, actually not. I don't think so. Planning doesn't make you a loser.
Now, I've kept the checklist because I have to. It's really for all the things that I can't run down the street and get to at Walmart because of all the craziness
Insulin.
of the diabetes stuff, right? Exactly. All that stuff that I got to carry and how many days. That's the only thing I really need to calculate. How many days, and so how much of this do I need to bring? And so because if I take off without one of those, I'm kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And so I've kept a running list for that. But ever since I was a kid, in fact, I think I still have one of them folded up. There was a checklist that has never failed me in 20 years, of traveling. Just,
Yeah.
don't forget this and don't leave without underwear and you'll be in good shape.
yeah.
My cousin Candace, who has a daughter with special needs, I'm talking about Hope, when she travels with Hope, oh my gosh. I remember last Thanksgiving, she has to feed Hope through a feeding tube. And so that's something that requires privacy. And you go off. She goes off into another room and does that every 4 hours. And Hope is like 12, 13 years old.
Yep.
So if that helps paint a picture as a mother to you, and even then you can't know until you're in her shoes because her situation is very specific. But when she was feeding Hope once while we were all planning Thanksgiving dinner, I went into that room just to visit with her, with Candace. And it's fine for me to be in there.
Yeah.
And I was watching all of the stuff that she had to carry, all the tubes and the medical little pieces of equipment and gauze, and just, you cannot imagine. So imagine Candace going on a trip, which she had traveled to be where we were also for herself, for her son, and then for Hope. It is quadruple the amount of stuff that a normal person has to pack. And she has to remember to bring that kind of stuff everywhere she goes where she brings Hope. And there's that big stroller, So her packing list just blew my mind.
I wonder if she's even has to, is that committed to memory or does she have a list?
Probably both. She's probably
'Cause that's
got
a
it
lot,
in her memory now, but I'm sure she could probably access it somewhere, So that's, and that's, I think of her because the minute you think you've got it kind of rough for travel, which you do, Murphy, with all that diabetes stuff, but just a regular family,
Oh, yeah.
having a regular list, and you can run down to Walgreens or whatever,
Yeah.
Walmart, Target to get anything you need. Candace can't do that. You can't do that, Murphy,
Right. I just, the vacation checklist or any of those, they're just exciting to me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I geek out on them totally. There's
Yeah.
just something exciting about, okay, I've got this. Did I forget that? And then there's always, there are always things on the list that I don't ever use. It's like, bring these books that I don't ever wind up reading because I'm usually enjoying
You
vacation.
think you're going to have so much reading time.
And I don't, That's
Like
just,
$4.
right.
You barely crack one.
Murphy, I know you're like the master of the airport. Are there any tips that you shared with her for getting through the airport, or did the sheet
No,
cover it all?
The sheet covered every single one of those tricks.
My
every
issue
single
with
one of
her
them.
with her New York packet is I'm so glad that it was so thorough because I do feel like because she's our daughter, she's not listening to us. I know she's not. I walk
Yeah.
into her room and I'm like, we got you these little shampoos, but I want you to remember to bring this. And as soon as I'm on my second sentence,
Yeah.
I can see her check out. And because she's so excited about the trip and she feels like she covered it all with the, chaperones and the teachers, that whatever I say to her now is it's the Charlie Brown teacher. Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of information anyway, and Jody is a very detailed person, so you're that's where you're very specific and you're very good, but it becomes too long of a mental list. It has to be a written list. That's why the list that the teacher gave. Because Sam, your question was, would I give her airport tips? In my head, I would have jumped past that. What I would have been thinking about New York and when she's there and what happens. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have slowed down enough to go, oh wait, this is the first time that she's gone through an airport since she's been a young adult.
It's true.
Here's
She won't
what
remember
needs
the
to know.
last time she went with us.
Yeah, driver's license. You got to have that, or you're not getting on the plane, and those kinds of things.
Right.
Yeah, and having all those checklists and everything from the parents and the school's perspective, that's perfect for that age group because every kid's different, but speaking from my personal experience, going on trips, church trips and school trips, I was a chaperone's worst nightmare.
Why?
Were you?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Just trying to get away from the group intentionally, separate when I'm not supposed to.
Yeah.
There was an international trip I went on where I was old enough to drink in the country.
Oh, wow. We've heard this story, right?
Yes.
Wow.
So there's, plan for rain, plan for good weather, plan for rain, hope for sunshine is sort of the idea behind making a list.
Yeah,
Right.
And,
yeah, you're right. It is.
I
And
guess we'll never travel with Chad then
Yeah.
if he's just trying to get away from the
so what Chad is basically saying is this list of do's and don'ts that they have a column down the middle. In the don't column, Chad did most of those.
Oh, yeah.
Because they do have curfew, and they, once they're in their rooms for the night, they all need to be there.
Rules.
And there's no, the temptation would be, well, it's New York City, but no, you stay put, and then tomorrow we've got another plan, and
Right.
everybody knows where everybody is at any given time.
And she's going to do, this group is going to do everything you'd want to do in New York City. I don't know how she's not going to be worn out. I think and I even told her, when you get back into town, give yourself a full day to be home and rest, and don't schedule work right away, because she has a tendency to do that. She fills her schedule, which is great. And that's who she is. But I'm like, you're going to be worn out. I expect you to be worn out, and we want to see you. So don't work the next day. I asked her that. I was like, please don't schedule work the next day. I think she's going to be sleeping.
What's she looking most forward to?
I think just experiencing the city, and they're going to see a Broadway play, Wicked.
Ooh, Wicked.
So she's
Nice.
way excited about that, being a theater kid.